Hey there, Centani, and welcome to another episode of The Godfather Minute, starring me, Alex Robinson.
And starring me even more, Andy Robinson.
As we are the Godfather Minute Brothers, here to talk about Minute 151 of The Godfather.
Minute 151, Alex, repeat.
Wow, I didn't know you've been replaced by a machine. You got stepped over.
Minute 151, Alex, repeat. Cento.
No, first of all, minuto, numero.
Oh,
See, this is why you can't replace people with technology.
The protege has become the mentor. That's right. I was trying to trick you. I was trying to take a technological shortcut, but you showed me. Here we go. Alex, e minuto.
Minuto. Numero.
Cento. Cinquantuno. Yeah. Even your pronunciation is getting better than mine.
Thanks. It's only taken 150 weeks. Yeah. Almost 3 years we've been doing this.
3 years. 3 years and we're still alive.
Maybe not now, but 3 years from now.
Yeah. Even Tom Hagen couldn't predict this would have gone on so long. What's your summary, Alex? By the way, I do want to read my summary after yours because I have a wonderful one.
Oh, okay. You
go.
Here we go. Don. Oh, that's 150. Hold on. I'm looking at the notes for one. Hold on.
You're looking at 150?
I was looking at the notes for 150.
You were looking at 150?
You and my father were talking about my minutes.
No, Alex.
Give me a second. I got to find my notes.
Okay, but Alex, let me point out that if you were a robot, you would not have made that error.
That's probably true.
Well, let me read my summry while you're fumbling through your notes.
I found my notes. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. You go.
Okay, here's my notes for number 151.
All right. Don Corleone warns...
Okay, you're going to go first?
Okay.
Don and Mikey wrap up their meet.
This is what happens when we can't see each other. By the way, listeners, I'm looking into a curtain again. This pandemic thing.
Have you ever heard of the Turing Test?
The what?
The Turing Test.
How do you spell that?
I think it's Touring, or maybe
one more time.
Turning. Oh, now I'm
Turning.
Turing Test. It's named after the computer guy Alan Turing.
Mm-mm.
He came up with this is a very big digression, but his thing was that if we want to test artificial intelligence, it basically has to pass what is called the Turing Test, which is that a human is interacting with a machine, but doesn't realize it. Like the machine is so lifelike, that behaves so realistically that it is indistinguishable from a real person.
And what is that test?
The Turing Test.
No, but what does it actually test?
It tests artificial intelligence.
Okay, I would have thought doing this podcast with me would have tested your artificial intelligence.
It's tested my.
I don't know if that was a diss on you or me. Well, that's interesting. So you're bringing it up because we don't see each other.
We cannot see each other, so we could very well be right now being tested via the Turing Test to see if we could realize it was not.
That's awesome. I wonder if looking back at Godfather 1, could any of the characters have been robots?
Wait,
and
back
no one
at
realized
Godfather,
it, and people were fooled by it.
I think there's a lot of characters who could potentially be robots.
Really?
Well, because we don't see them do very much. So, like, there's no way that Rocco couldn't be a robot that drives cars.
Oh yeah, that's true. What about Luca Brasi?
Oh, he's a killing machine.
Yeah.
He's like the Terminator. They would have been great if they were like trying to choke him and he would like his skin turned all purple and then it burst, but underneath was like a metal skeleton.
Sonny says, well, what the hell is this? It's a Sicilian message. Luca Brasi sleeps with their nuts and bolts.
I like the off, the off,
That's early.
the wrong tone for the words.
That's early computer voice simulation.
That's war games era. That Joshua could not pass the Turing test.
No. So more about the Turing test. Have robots passed the Turing test? Probably, right?
I don't know.
If it's just a chat, then definitely. But you're talking about interacting.
Yeah, I think there's probably different degrees of it or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like we would have heard of it if there was one that was completely indistinguishable from a person.
Yeah. I wonder if Carlo could have been completely artificial intelligence.
You know where they say that it's really being tested a lot is that with the Turing, their testing is with you already see signs of if you call up like a line and they're like, why don't you tell me what the problem is? And then you're like, oh my, I can't plug in my computer. I think I know what you're talking about. Like that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That sometimes you'll encounter one where you're not sure if you're talking to a real person or even to the point where there's a recording of someone going, are you artificial intelligence? And she was like, what? What do you mean?
Oh,
like she wouldn't say, no, I'm not artificial intelligence, but she was just like, that's crazy. I just kept kind of like repeating phrases that almost made you think the robot was trying not to make you think it was.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's really funny. If I were designing one of those, an artificial intelligent customer service line, I would give the robot's voice a slight accent. A little bit of an accent, so people
what kind of accent?
Are doubly fooled. Well, probably accents that you hear typically on live human customer service lines, but not enough that you can't understand them. Of course, kind of defeats the whole purpose. But just enough to fool the user into thinking that the customer servant is somewhere abroad.
Oh, I get it. So it might excuse some peculiarities.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a psych out.
Nice psych out.
So what's your?
I haven't even done my summary yet.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Should I cut all that stuff out that we just talked about?
Maybe make it bonus material. We'll see how much we have left after this.
Oh, we'll let it ride.
Don and Mikey wrap up their meeting in the garden with a reminder that whoever arranges the meeting is the traitor. Months later, Don relaxes with his grandchild, Anthony, who was really bad at spraying for bugs.
Months later?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, I'm sure the book has something about that.
Yeah, I can't tell timelines in this book. Puzo's all over the place.
What an asshole.
Next thing you know, it's 3 years later. It's the next paragraph and it's 3 years later.
I feel like that scene is supposed to be, let me look in the screenplay here if it says.
Well, let me read my summary, Alex.
Okay, yeah.
I'm very proud of the summary. Don Corleone warns Michael about a traitor, and Anthony applies a pesticide to the Don's tomatoes.
Oh, is this part of the new song lyrics that you're working on?
Nah, you'll have to wait and see. You'll have to wait and see for the lyrics that you write.
You know what? Oh my gosh! You know what? For GF2, this is what we're gonna. For GF2, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make every episode summary be like rhyming couplets, and that way, at the end of the movie, we can put all those couplets together, and we will have a "We Didn't Start the Fire" style summary of the entire movie.
Alex, that is one of the best ideas you've ever had.
I wish I thought of it 151 weeks ago.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea, but you just missed it.
Oh, what?
Maybe what I need to do first is write the music, sort of the structure of the song, because we don't want it just da 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 a da 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 a da 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 b da 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 b da 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 c da 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 c, that kind of rhyming, because doing that 300 times is going to drive all of us crazy. First of all,
those lyrics are terrible. Why would we do a song like that?
Luca Brazzi, Luca A. So the way I can prove is let me work on the music first to mix it up, have a chorus, have a bridge.
Okay.
And then we'll repeat that just so it varies it a little bit.
Okay.
Awesome.
I like it. So yeah, that was the summary of what goes on in the minute.
So what do you have for the minute? You want me to start? I got some notes.
Well, first of all, there's not much dialogue in this. Oh, should we do? Is it worth doing it's probably not worth reading the script. The two of us doing it. There's only like 2 lines.
Yeah, there's really no lines.
So the one line that is there is it says, "Oh, don't forget whoever makes the Barzini arrangements is the traitor," and that sound I'm going to call overdub alert.
Really?
Overdub alert. Overdub alert. Overdub alert. Overdub alert. Overdub alert. Overdub alert. Overdub alert.
Particularly that line where he says traitor. The way he says the R in the last traitor sounds very not like the way he says R's the whole rest of the minute.
So are you calling not only an overdub alert, but a voice over, or when someone else comes in and does the vocal line?
No, it could be Brando.
All right,
but
maybe it's James Earl Jones again.
Well, I think it might be Brando like 6 months later when he hasn't been Don Corleone and is just kind of like, okay, I'll do whatever. He's in the booth.
Yeah.
He does as we said, he hates overdubbing. So
he's already 4 weeks into the shooting for the Island of Dr. Moreau.
Have you ever seen that?
I saw parts of it.
You have to see it.
Okay,
it's worth seeing just for Marlon Brando in it.
Okay,
because he's like crazy in it.
Oh, awesome!
Like like he's supposed to be crazy, and also he's crazy on 2 levels. He's crazy on the Dr. Moreau level, and he's crazy on the Marlon Brando level. So check it out when you get a chance.
Oh, that's great.
So yes, when he says he's the traitor, that's
so overdub. Okay,
sounds dubbed.
Do you think if it is James Earl Jones in his contract, anytime he does an overdub, he has to say something? He has to say, for example, in this one, he would say, "Don't forget that the person who talks to you about Barzini is the traitor."
Well, I thought, it's funny that both those lines have to do with someone betraying someone. So he has to do all those. Yeah. Maybe the line where he's saying, "Fredo, come on, there's still room in the plane." Maybe that's also James Earl Jones, because that also has to do with betrayal.
Wow, he's quite a range, that guy.
And then eventually he betrays and murders your father.
Oh. Hey, speaking of Fredo.
Yes.
So at the end of the part of this minute where the Don stands up and walks away, and there are a few seconds where you see Mikey. He sits back in his lounger.
Yeah.
He kind of lays back, thinking, he sighs. Totally reminds me of the Fredo lounger in GF2, and Fredo is sitting back. Remember when Mikey's grilling him about what he knows?
Yeah.
It's just an interesting connection. I wonder if in GF2 that was Coppola thought back to that.
Well, considering how much, like as we've learned in those other scenes, how much Coppola can establish relationships and stuff with the staging, it does feel like it has to be a conscious thing.
Yeah.
And if you recall, when this scene started, the last scene before this was Mikey and Kay in the car, in the K car. And when it faded into this scene, it transitioned. I noticed that that Anthony's face was right on the Don when it transitioned.
Yeah.
And in this bit here, when Mikey leans back and then it transitions to the next scene, it transitions from Mikey, and then Mikey's face more or less turns into Anthony's head.
Oh, wow. I didn't notice that.
So it almost made me wonder if they used it just so that when it faded, his face would be in the right... You were looking at his face when it turned into the next... especially since it kind of bookends the scene.
Wow. I didn't notice that. That's some real Orson Welles stuff.
That's the only thing I can think of as to how it would... why that shot is like in the way it is.
Wow. Very cool.
So anything else before we get to the scene with Anthony? Anything else about the end of the scene?
Yeah,
with
Alex,
Mikey?
how does the Don know that whoever goes to Mikey to set up the Barzini meeting is the traitor?
Oh yeah. So another reason why I feel like that might be dubbed is that basically he's reminding the audience of something that's gonna in the movie. Like, listen, everybody, whoever meets there's a traitor. So when you see Tessio do that, so That's what also makes me think like they're like, okay, we have to make this very clear because we have to know why Mikey knows the Tessio's the traitor. So let's, Marlon, we just need you to say it really clear. And then so.
I think Don Corleone even knew who it was.
Yeah.
But didn't want to reveal it to Mikey. He wanted Mikey to, this is his coming of age, is a rite of passage.
Oh, his first test to see if he'll be able to figure out.
But he wanted to give him enough clues. Don't forget, if someone calls you, sets us up, that person is a traitor.
Come on, Pop, who is it? Is it Tessio?
I can't tell you, but you might smell some bad fish.
Is it Clemenza? Clemenza likes fish.
Well, if I knock twice, it's not Clemenza.
Oh my God, it's Paulie.
Well, Mikey, I'm not going to say that Paulie won't see him no more.
Oh my God, I can't believe Sonny betrayed us.
Sonny's dead. My God, I'm giving over my empire to you. Fredo! Where's Fredo? He's looking for Fredo now.
And then when his diabetic coma kicks in, he's like, Fredo!
Oh, wow. That was, so in GF3, that's Michael not thinking back to him killing Fredo, but it's him thinking back to the shame he felt when the Don was now passing over Mikey and giving the empire to Fredo.
And that's why Mikey arranged for Anthony to kill the Don before he could contact Fredo.
That's it. That now it makes sense. Now we know why Anthony goes on to kill his grandfather. Oh my gosh.
Wow, wheels within wheels.
I thought Michael was already pretty low, but man, having your 4-year-old child murder your father.
I just realized it was Anthony all along. Anthony was the one who came up with the whole plot. Because Anthony knew that if Mikey got stepped over, then Anthony would not have any shot at the inheritance.
That's right.
So he knew that he had to get it back from Fredo, Uncle Freddie.
That's great. Oh, and that's why when Anthony goes to, so Don Corleone knows that it's Anthony coming to kill him. That's why he scares him away with the orange mouth monster. That was his last shot to defend himself.
You know, it also just occurred to me that one of the last people probably the last person Fredo sees alive is Anthony. When they leave the dock.
You're right. Fishing. Well, I guess it would be Al, right?
Well, he was behind him, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Can you bait his hook, Al?
So,
right.
yes.
Al was behind him the whole time.
So,
come on. Your dad needs you in Reno. He needs you to kill someone in Reno.
So, yes. Getting onto the scene with Anthony and the sprayer. I'll have to look up on the wiki how late this is after. I think it might be like a year later.
Get out of here.
Well, because I think anyway, I'll look it up. You know what? We'll ask, we'll answer.
Now there's something I've got some stuff from the book, but it doesn't shed light on the timeline of when he dies.
Right. So, Marlon Brando said this was the first time he found this scene very interesting to film because he'd never acted with a child before. So, someone as into acting as Marlon Brando is, I can imagine it being an interesting challenge.
Brando was referring to Al Pacino, right?
Yes, to Al Pacino. Yeah.
This guy's a child.
Here's something interesting. The character was not named Anthony in the original version.
What was it?
I don't know, but the actor's name was Anthony. And in order for him to act in the scene, they had to call him the character's name because he was too small to really. He acted better when they called the character that it was him.
He couldn't understand that he was an actor.
Yeah, I guess so.
He thought he really was trying to kill Marlon Brando.
It's like The Crow. Remember that movie, The Crow?
Never seen it.
But do you know the whole what happened behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that. He thought that there was no real pesticide in there, and then when he sprayed Marlon Brando with it, he didn't realize that he was being used. That someone set him up to kill Marlon.
Yeah. Hey, I do have something in the book about the timeline, Alex.
Yes,
I was going to share this in minute 153, but it's appropriate now. Let's see. Let me read it. Puzo writes, Michael Corleone had taken precautions against every eventuality. His planning was faultless. His security impeccable. He was patient, hoping to use the full year to prepare. But he was not to get his necessary year because fate itself took a stand against him, and in the most surprising fashion. For it was the Godfather, the great Don himself, who failed Michael Corleone. And that's the end of that micro chapter.
So less than a year.
Yeah. Less than a year from when Michael takes over. I think that's what that means.
Or less than a year from that conversation.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's not clear when. This is at the very beginning of a new, what Puzo calls a book. There are several books in this book. This is book 8 and the beginning of a chapter and its own paragraph. And it doesn't come right after any conversation in the garden. So I'm assuming it's a year, less than a year after Michael takes over.
So he only semi-retires for a year.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Did you have more about Anthony, or should I get more into the book about this scene?
Well,
There is some garden stuff.
I have a little bit about the actor, Anthony Gonaris, Gounaris. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He is the actor who played Anthony. This is his only acting role. Never acted again, and he grew up to get a business degree, and he runs a restaurant in Queens, New York. Another bit of interesting information. His older brother, James Gonaris, plays Anthony in GF2.
Interesting.
So, so they the older brother.
Wow.
So I guess he wasn't old. I guess the character must have aged faster than or just the kid didn't want to do it maybe by that time. So
yeah.
And that's all I got. So what do you got from the book?
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if Anthony Gonaris' restaurant, if he plays off of his role in The Godfather. I'm sure the clientele know that, right?
The name of the restaurant is Anthony's.
Oh, okay. So,
no, I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
They when they come to put dressing on your salad at the table, they have the pesticide sprayer. Oh, that's if you really have an in at Anthony's restaurant, you get the corner table. He comes out. Anthony himself comes out and puts dressing on your salads with that original pesticide sprayer.
That's like the expensive fancy.
Yeah, I'd pay top dollar for that. That'd be great. Here we go. Puzo writes, on one sunny Sunday morning, while the women were at church, Don Vito Corleone dressed in his gardening uniform, baggy gray trousers, a faded blue shirt, battered dirt brown fedora decorated by a stained gray silk hatband. The Don had gained considerable weight in his few years and worked on his tomato vines, he said, for the sake of his health. But he deceived no one. The truth was, he loved tending his garden. He loved the sight of it early on a morning. It brought back his childhood in Sicily 60 years ago. Brought it back without the terror, the sorrow of his own father's death. Pause. So he's 60.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's funny. In the they changed it. I think in the movie they made him older. I'm looking at the Godfather wiki and it says he was 67 when he died.
Okay.
But you know what? I know they did change the year of his birth.
That's right. Can you believe they changed Pop's birthday?
They didn't know it was Pop's birthday.
Here we go. A little bit more about this garden scene. So this is some stuff that's in the book that's not in the movie. Puzo writes, the Don hastened to water his garden. It must be done before the sun waxed too hot and turned the water into a prism of fire that could burn his lettuce leaves like paper. Sun was more important than water. Water also was important, but the two, imprudently mixed, could cause great misfortune. Pause. So I wanted to read that because I wonder if that's a metaphor for something in the movie, maybe their relationships. Did you catch that, Alex?
Well, I guess the first thing I thought when you said it was that sun, like is S-U-N, and there's also S-O-N, meaning like the family business, that thing. That's the first thing I thought of. I don't know what the water would be.
Sun was more important than water. Water also was important, but the two, imprudently mixed, could cause great misfortune. I wonder if that is like family and business, maybe.
Or yeah, kind of
Like family is more important.
blood being
but
thicker
if you
than
mix
water.
them, If you mix them, it could cause great misfortune.
But you have to mix them.
Yes. 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 Yes, that's it. Al. You found it. You have to mix them.
But you have to be careful.
Yeah, you don't want to step over your green beans.
Yeah.
If they're the ones in line to.
Carpenters and bakers can be careless. Gardeners can't afford to be careless.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for entertaining that for me. Puzo goes on to write, the Don moved through his garden hunting for ants. If ants were present, it meant that lice were in his vegetables and the ants were going after the lice and he would have to spray. He had watered just in time. The sun was becoming hot and the Don thought, prudence, prudence. But there were just a few more plants to be supported by sticks and he bent down again. He would go back into the house when he finished this last row. Cut.
Uh-huh.
Cut.
Wait, were you saying cut?
That's all I'm going to read because the next part has to do with
Okay.
with the Dons,
So
with the next minutes.
So you were pausing again.
I'm not pausing because I'm not going to read anymore because that's the end of what I'm going to read today.
Okay. I thought you meant cut, like stop the recording.
Oh, no, never stop the recording. You can never stop.
That's why I was thrown off when you said cut. So
Yeah, Alex, you can never stop the recording.
well, I think that's interesting because it kind of continues that metaphor of like if the sun is like the Don's like I have some things I got to do before the sun gets too strong. Like I got to set this thing up and like
because before the sun gets too strong.
yeah, before the peak, before Mikey really has to take over, the Don has to do things and he's not going to get a chance to do them.
Yeah.
The only thing he's going to get a chance to do is die.
Yeah. Eat. What's that pesticide, that herbicide that you're not supposed to use anymore?
DDT?
No,
Champagne cocktails?
it's very common. It's just you spray it on any leaf and the plant will die.
DEET?
No, it's you buy it at Lowe's and stuff. Never mind. I don't want to get sued anyway, right? big fertilizer. Is that it? Oh, big aggro. I
Yeah,
guess
big
that's
aggro. Big shit.
So that's all I have, Alex.
Well, that's all I have as well.
Yeah, not a lot of.
I guess I should point out I love the Don's outfit and I love his belt and his pants. Because I guess he's doing the classic old man thing of having his pants really high up on his waist, but his belt is also like 2 inches below his like waistline. You know what I mean? It's like 2 inches of pant before. Anyway, you know what I mean.
Yeah, funny.
So and he definitely seems like his hair's all like long and disheveled, and
Yeah.
he definitely looks older and more long way from wearing a tuxedo.
Yeah, but still looking good considering he was shot several times and survived. The things that he's seen. Think about that.
No kidding. Well, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to rate this mother lover. It's a tough one.
Don't forget, the person whoever comes to you with this Barzini meaning is the traitor.
Traitor.
Yeah.
And then it's Anthony messing around with the can. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, excellent.
So, we get to, mostly because of the Don, obviously, because no one else does very much in it. Mm-hmm. But,
And within 1 minute, you do see 3 generations of men.
That's right.
It's kind of neat.
3 generations of doomed men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It would have been nice if anyway, we'll save the Don's death for next week.
Yeah.
So, does he die next week or does it take,
it's actually in 2 minutes.
So next minute is literally just him running around the garden.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
That's going to be fun. Yeah. We should do the whole episode with oranges in our mouth.
Yeah. That's great.
Well, all right then. So thanks for listening, everybody. We're about to record some bonus content, which you can hear by going to godfatherminute.com/support. And until next time.
Whoever comes to you with the Barzini's meaning is the traitor.
It was terrible.